SimLicy here, so welcome to another part of my Renovating EA series, and this time I am renovating this house. It's a base game starter home here in Willow Creek. Now, in the end, it is definitely not a starter house. I think it's almost nearly 70,000 simoleons. It's like 67 something or other. So it's quite expensive in the end, and I had originally thought to keep it kind of budget friendly, but this is going to be for my save file, and I already have a sim that I want to live in this house. So I already have like a color scheme in mind and like certain items I wanted to include in this house to fit her personality. She is a single sim that lives by herself with her dog, and her dog is so cute. It's kind of is it called a bull terrier? I'm not exactly sure. If you guys are familiar with the Target dog, that's what he looks like, and it's so super cute. She's one of my favorite sims I've ever created, so I'm really excited to share her with you guys. So I did want her to live in this house, and I was wanting to keep it kind of on a budget since she's a young adult, but I wasn't too worried about it being a starter since I just want starters to be for like new gameplay when you have a sim that starts out in your gameplay. Does that make sense? I hope it does. But anyway, since the sim already lives here, I just figured screw the budget, go crazy, and actually make this house truly for her. So she is a romantic sim. She's also a goofball, so she's a goofy romantic, and I think she's also family oriented. She does have a sister in the game. Her sister will live somewhere else. I'm not exactly sure where yet. And yeah, her sister's more of like a sporty, outdoorsy girl. I think, if I remember correctly. But anyways, so yeah, this house, I thought that she really loves living in Willow Creek. She loves the traditional style of these southern homes, because I think this is correct. I think a lot of you guys have agreed with me that Willow Creek is based around the architecture style of New Orleans. I hope that's correct. So that's what I decided to do for this home, and I feel like she just really loves that style. She loves living in Willow Creek, and she loves old movies and romantic novels, and I imagine her to be a writer. I actually think I have her aspiration as being a chef right now, but I think I'm going to change it to being a writer, and I think she mainly focuses on romance. So that's what I've been thinking for her. I'm very excited to share this character with you guys. I think she's going to be one of my favorite sims to play with. I think I might just play with her once my save file is complete and just like my own personal gameplay. I think she would be a fun sim to play with. But anyways, as you guys can see, the exterior structure is coming together. I went with reds and blues and whites for the exterior and a lot of red on the interior. I know I just did a build that had a lot of red in it, so I'll probably take a little break from the red for a while so everything's not the same, but a lot of her outfits have a lot of red in them, so I definitely wanted her home to reflect that, because I imagine since she's romantic and she wears a lot of red, I imagine her house would reflect that as well. So that's what I did, but the exterior of this house is probably my favorite compared to the interior anyways. The interior is okay, but it's definitely not a style that I am super comfortable with. I had kind of a hard time with it. I didn't like show all of my struggles because we would be here all day if I showed you everything that I attempted for the interior, but in the end I do like it. It's just not my personal style, so sometimes when I try to decorate a little bit more out of my comfort zone, it takes me a while to get there, but I think it suits her and that's what matters. I really liked that I added this little porch here. I do change it up here in a second, but I really like this little porch and side yard area. I was gonna add like a barbecue and like a place to eat outside, but I decided not to. There's some planter boxes out there, but what I really do like is this old tree that I added out in the front. I think it came with Outdoor Retreat. You'll see me place it here in a little while once I start with the landscaping. It took me a little while to get like these pathways figured out because I did a house over in the Pancakes neighborhood a while back that had a side yard. Actually, two of them have side yards, so I was trying to do something similar to that, but I decided not to close it in. I think it looks really nice, but yeah, you'll see me place that tree here in a second, and I think it looks really, really cool. So yeah, I'm very happy with the way the exterior turned out. All of the windows are exactly the same on the exterior, and I did struggle with it a little bit once I got onto the interior to do the kitchen because they're full wall height windows. I didn't want the cabinets to block them at all, so I do switch it up on the other side of the house, but to balance it out, I realized later on in the video that I could just add like a drain pipe running down the side of the house, and that would kind of balance out the dead space on the exterior. Hopefully that makes sense, but you guys will see that come together here in a little while. But anyways, so I am starting with the landscaping. These are some of my favorite cheaper flowers to use, and if you size them up, they take up a lot of space, and I think they look really pretty, so I was very happy about that because I kind of wanted I don't know. I think at this point I was still kind of having the idea that it would be a cheap house, but yeah, I think I gave up on it here in just a few seconds. But this is the tree that I was talking about. I think it looks cool, and it looks like it's probably been here forever, and it's like all twisted and knotted, and I was just really happy about that. So really like the way that turned out. And then I'm just adding a pathway to this other little staircase up to the front porch that I added. I thought that looked kind of cool and created some, I don't know, kind of nice design effect to the house. I just really like the way the exterior turned out. So I hope you guys will like it too. I'm very excited to hear what you guys have to say about this house, and very excited to finally be sharing another part of this series. This has been so much fun. I have been really enjoying this. I've always wanted to renovate EA houses, and I've tried it other times and kind of been unsuccessful, but ever since I've been doing it this time for my save file and have like, I guess, a plan, and every neighborhood I know exactly what style I want them to be in, it's been a lot of fun, and you guys have seemed to enjoy it as well. So I just want to say thank you, because it's been a blast. So I'm very excited to do another one. I'm not sure. I've been trying to balance it out between neighborhoods, so I'm not like doing only Willow Creek or only Windenburg. I feel like I should probably go back to Windenburg or Oasis Springs, because you know what? I should probably do a vampire house. I don't know. If you guys have any suggestions or houses you want to see me renovate, definitely leave them in the comments. That way I can plan my next renovation. But now that I am in my brand new office, I want to start recording the Not So Berry Challenge. I get questions about that all the time, and I've mentioned in so many videos how, oh yes, it's coming back. But now that I have a nice quiet space to record and I can get everything set up, I definitely want to get back into that series because I miss it so much. It's really fun. So if you guys haven't checked that out already, maybe get caught up on the episodes, and then hopefully by next week I will start sharing episodes. I would like to share at least 2 a week. I mean, we'll see. We'll start with 1 and then hopefully I will be able to share more, because I definitely want to get back into that. So yeah. Anyways, so I am almost done with the exterior, just putting a trash can out here and a couple flowers around the front. I really like the way I decorated the front porch with those really cool kind of bohemian couches. Now, at one point after I started decorating the interior, I was like, maybe I should change those couches to a little bit more simpler look, because the interior is a lot more classic and traditional looking, and they're kind of funky, but I left them. I feel like since she's a goofy sim, they give her a little bit more personality, and I also put a couple little gnomes around, so that was a bit of fun. But we are on into the interior now, and like I said, I did struggle with this, so this isn't like the final or the original version of me decorating the interior. I did cut all those out. Yeah, it was just kind of a struggle. It's kind of a small space, and I completely redid the floor plan, by the way, so it made it kind of hard to do the before and after screenshots. And it's a very similar layout to, which house is it? I think it's the Rindle Rose. Is it a similar layout to that one? I think so. The way I did the floor plan anyways, because I felt like the floor plan that this original build had was kind of strange, because you walk in and it's a very narrow hallway and then it opens up into the living space, and I felt like it would work much better if we open up into the living space. That way it's not like this dark, weird hallway when you first walk into the house, and then the bedroom and bathroom could be in the back. So I felt like that made a little bit more sense. But yeah, so the living room is coming together. Like I said, this isn't my first attempt. It was such a struggle, but I really did like using these Parenthood chairs with the blue pillow. I thought it was super, super cute. So I used those a couple times in the house, and then I just paired them with these cats and dog couches with lots of pillows as well. I liked the white swatch. I wish the pillows had some color, but they don't. That's okay. The white worked well anyways. So there is lots of whites on this interior, and some blues and reds and grays, I think. So I tried to keep it pretty cohesive, since I definitely was going in with a color plan based on her outfits. And then this little dish that I used here on the coffee table, I wanted to use it in this swatch, and the thumbnail on the preview looked like it was supposed to be red, but it's quite pink, so I ended up changing it here in a little while. I wish it was more red, because it would have just tied in so nicely, but oh well. But here I am moving those windows, because I knew I wanted the kitchen to be in this back corner here on the right side of the screen, and I knew it would block the windows. So yeah, felt like that worked pretty nicely. But there I am, just changing that dish on the coffee table to be a little bit more neutral colored instead of that pink that just clashed with everything. And then I'm just adding some of these pretty table garland runner decorations to the top of the fireplace. I was gonna add more, but it felt like it was just a little bit overkill, so I just left one in the center, and I thought that was really pretty. But now we're on into the kitchen area. So I really do like the way this one turned out. I used the stove and refrigerator that came with Jungle Adventure. I just thought they looked really cool and they're really classic looking. I actually struggled with this kitchen quite a bit off camera when I was playtesting the house. The Sim was having trouble using any chopping blocks on the counter, but I got it to work in the end. So if you download this house, don't worry, everything should work. But yeah, it was just kind of a struggle. She was able to cook anything if it was just on the stove, but yeah, but I figured it out. You'll notice that here in a little while I put some dog treats in the corner countertop, and once I just used some move objects and placed those closer to the wall, then she was able to use that space to use the cutting board. So definitely turn on move objects if you download this. That way everything should place just as it should. But anyways, so I do decide to add a little island here with the sink and a couple of bar stools just in a plain white color just to tie it all in. And then I just clutter up the countertops with some fruit and a few little items. Now I didn't want to clutter it up too much because I knew there was going to be limited counter space, so that's why I ended up removing the coffee pot so there was space over there. And I also end up moving the bread box. So that works out pretty nicely, and I really like this little spot right here, and I use this little plaque with some chalk writing on it, and I thought it was kind of cute. Maybe it's a little grocery shopping list. It's a pretty adorable item, so I was very happy about that. And then I put some dog treats over here in the corner, and then just a little jar full of, I'm not really sure what that jar is. It's like full of peppers or something, but nice and simple. And then I just find some old light fixtures to hang from the ceiling that I thought looked really classic, because I definitely wanted this to look like an older home, so a lot of the items are pretty traditional and maybe the original from when the house was first built is what I was thinking. Oh, something I should mention, I do end up adding a washer and dryer in this house, and I end up putting it in the hallway, which I thought worked out pretty nicely. So what I'm doing here in the hallway will change later on, because I actually create a little like laundry nook, which I think turns out pretty nicely, but you'll see that happen quite a bit later on in the video. But I do really like that. And then the bathroom is going to be pretty simple. I use the same cabinets that we use in the kitchen, and I really wanted to use the shower from the Vampires game pack, but I didn't quite come in the right color. So you'll see me pull it out here in a second. The white and gold was like the closest, but the gold was still a little bit too, it was a little bit too much, I felt, for the rest of the house. So I decided to go with just a base game standard, more modern looking shower. So I was kind of disappointed about that. I feel like we need more of these classical looking showers. Maybe I could have made it work. It's a really pretty shower, but oh well, it didn't quite work for me. Maybe we just need more of the boxy ones with different shower curtains, because I really like the one that came with Parenthood, but a lot of them look like they're more for like kids' bathrooms rather than like an adult's bathroom. So oh well, not that big of a deal. We do have a lot of options actually for bathrooms. I think in every pack, or at least like game packs and expansions, we get like full bathroom sets and never full kitchen sets or bedroom sets. You know what? Actually, what I've been thinking about recently is how we need more living room stuff. I've been feeling very limited with couches, more than I ever have, and I don't know, I feel like very limited, and we need more couches. So I'm hoping in the next game pack or expansion, whatever is going to be coming next, we will get some couches, please, and full sets that match with the love seat and the chairs, please and thank you. But anyways, I am on into her bedroom now. The bedroom originally starts out very, very white and clean. I do go in at the end of the video and change a lot of the wood tones to match more of like the cabinet color in the kitchen, just to tie it in a little bit better and kind of tone it down, because I felt like the white was just a little bit, it looked a little bit bland and boring. So I do change that in the end, but I do really like the way her bedroom turns out. I do imagine her to be quite girly, so I do end up putting the vanity table in here so she can sit down and do her makeup before she goes on a date, or maybe she just likes to play around and do her makeup for fun when she just goes out and about. I don't know, but I thought that was really nice. I also really liked hanging this painting that came from Vintage Glamour right above the dresser right here. I think it looks so pretty, and I can't remember if I mentioned this already, but I figured she was really into old movies, and since these paintings kind of look like, well, one of them looks like Marilyn Monroe, the other one looks like Audrey Hepburn, and there's a third one who I'm not sure who that's supposed to be, but I imagine those were like some of her favorite movie stars, and she has them hanging up throughout the house, because I do put one in her office. And I also end up putting, I think it came with Dine Out, the one that came with like the whole collage of black and white photos. I imagine those were more movie stars, so you'll see that when we get to her office. But right now I am trying to figure out how to arrange these items up on her vanity. I really wanted to use that tray full of like brushes and stuff, and I end up getting rid of it but I don't know, I could have probably used it once I changed the dresser color, but with the white, I felt like it looked a little bit weird and stood out. But this room is going to be her office, so I put a desk over here with a computer, and I also end up putting some bookcases in here. Originally, I was planning on making this like a utility laundry room, but since I didn't have a space to put the computer anywhere else in the house, I figured yeah, this would be a great spot to do it. If you decide to play with this sim in my save file or download the house from the gallery and play in it, you could definitely turn this into a bedroom. It would make a good room for a roommate or some kids or something. But you'll see here in a second, I try to add the washer and dryer, but I'm like, maybe I should section it off to make like a little laundry room, but I definitely didn't want to leave it in there next to the desk because I was like, well, then the washer and dryer is just going to be making all this noise while she's trying to do her work on the computer, and I know I would find that very annoying. So I do create that laundry nook here in a second that I was talking about, and I was pretty happy about that. I felt like it was kind of clever, but here I am creating it right now, and it's just a tiny little nook. I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. It's probably not that big of a deal. It's kind of a silly thing to talk about, but I was pretty proud of it anyways. And I think it makes a nice use of the space. So very happy about that. And I just cluttered up with a couple little things. And then as for this room, I create this kind of little corner shelf here with these two bookcases. Now, I probably should have tried to use a different one, but I really liked these ones because they were really traditional looking, but they do have these clocks on the shelves and they kind of overlap into the book, so it looks a little bit weird, so maybe you want to ignore that. But here are those classic paintings or classic photos that I was talking about. And yeah, just imagine they were more movie stars. I also end up pulling out some debug objects here in 2 seconds. Yeah, I'm pulling them out right now, and I end up adding some makeup clutter to the vanity and removing that tray. And yeah, I get some brushes out there, a little makeup palette, and I also end up pulling out, I think, a romance novel and putting it on here. And then in her office, I also pull out, I think it's how to be a socialite or a successful socialite. You'll see me pull it out here in just a second, and I place it on the table next to the chairs in her office. Oh, and I really liked using this lamp. Now, this lamp came from Vintage Glamour, and it looks like a giraffe with like a lamp on its head. It is such a fun item. I would love to have that in real life. It's so super cute. So I did use a lot of Vintage Glamour stuff in this house, a lot of vampire stuff too, but definitely Vintage Glamour. But there I just pulled out that magazine, I sized it up, and now I mentioned in a couple videos ago, I forget which ones, but I wasn't sure if your Sims could actually use those books or magazines when they were sized up, and I couldn't get her to use it at all, which I am really happy about. It may annoy some of you guys, but I kind of see them more as decor items, as just to kind of clutter up the space, and I don't know, I don't want them to be used because I don't want them to be moved or put in a bookshelf or something. So very happy that they don't use them, but I thought I should mention it in case you guys have been trying to get your Sims to read them. But yeah, that's what I found out recently. But over here I kind of struggled with what to do in this corner. I end up using this chair again, but I'm like, okay, I've used it in the living room, I've used it in here, I've used it in the bedroom, maybe I should use a different chair. So here in just a second, I do end up using that high back chair that came with cats and dogs, and I use it in a red color, and then I just put a little stool in front of it, which I think it looks pretty nice. I definitely hope that we get more high back chairs in the future because I don't know, I don't want to keep using the same one over and over. But here I am fixing this issue I had with the side of the house, so I felt like it looked a little bit unbalanced without any windows here in the center. So I just add some plants and then a drain pipe, and look, it's all balanced out. I was so happy about that because it just drives me nuts when there's nothing on like a wall, and sometimes you have to do that for the interior to work out the way you want it to. But here I am switching out that chair for a taller back one, or for this tall back one, and I think it looks really nice in the red color as well. And yeah, I just think it turns out really pretty. I thought about switching up the wallpaper because the wallpaper looked a little bit bland, but I felt like there was just so much going on with all the reds and the different decorations that if I switched it to anything with a brighter color or more pattern, it would just be a little bit too overpowering. So decided not to do that. But over here I just add another Vintage Glamour painting of this other starlet, which I thought looked really nice. And then here on this little back porch, I add a toy box for her dog and then a little basket flower arrangement thing here in the corner. But yeah, that is about it. I just go in and change some of the colors on the interior in her bedroom. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this renovation. And like I said earlier, if you guys have any ones that you guys would like to see me do, please let me know in the comments. But anyways, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and please leave any comments or suggestions that you have, and I will talk to you guys soon.
I am a
Bye!
woman, not here to please you. It's time to move on, cause my time is now. I am a woman,